Hi, everyone. This is Maria Pavlik-Calban.
And Cindy Chevalo-Keene.
And Jeffrey Calban.
And on behalf of United Neighbors, we want to draw your attention to a short presentation that will illustrate the damaging consequences of SB 79. SB 79 begins its assembly hearings the week of June 16. As Senator Wiener takes amendments to win more support, we feel our assembly members need to know that as long as SB 79 allows development of housing to be generated radially from bus and rail stops rather than linearly on our transit and commercial corridors, great harms will come to our community. We want to show you how. Most of us understand the height allowances in this bill. Tier 2 are areas with commuter rail and bus stops in urban and suburban areas. It allows 5 to 6 story apartments by right anywhere within a half-mile radius of a qualifying bus or rail stop. Those stops are currently either in dedicated bus lanes or are serviced by buses with 15-minute intervals. But remember, bus schedules change and dedicated lanes are being added every year, so impacts will keep growing. And here is the bus, and every time it stops at a qualifying bus stop, it radiates that half-mile radius where 5 and 6 story apartments can be built. And every time it stops, it generates a new radius. What we may not have paid attention to is the density allowed by this bill. And if you look at 3B and 4B, you'll see that within a quarter-mile radius of those stops, it allows 100 housing units per acre. And within a half-mile, it allows 80 units per acre. But what does that exactly mean? Typically, a single-family neighborhood is zoned for 8 units per acre. Here is that half-mile radius to scale, so you can see how much of a neighborhood is impacted. And the yellow square is an acre. The entire circle is 503 acres. If you do the math, you see how much density will be allowed by right.
And this diagram shows the quarter-mile radius, the inner red circle, and the full half-mile radius is completed with that yellow donut. Inside the red area, we have 126 acres. At 100 units per acre, that's 12,600 housing units. In the yellow area, you have a net 377 acres. At 80 units per acre, that's 30,160 housing units. One bus stop will generate 42,760 housing units, but not all at once. The developer will come in and build one apartment house, another developer might build another, and so on until the whole area builds up. There'll be a loss of light, air, and landscape.
To satisfy the demands of local control from senators, Senator Wiener amended the bill to offer some local control. So now a city can present an alternate plan, but it must maintain at least the same total increase in zoning capacity in both units and floor area. You can reduce some sites by 50% and increase others by no more than 200%. So let us show you what that means and how meaningless it is for cities.
This is that community of ours being shown with the 5 and 6 story apartments dictated by the SB 79 criteria. If you reduce part of it, let's say it's a single family area, and you reduce it by 50%, those areas are still multi-family zones. They're 3 story apartment buildings. And someplace else in your community, you have to raise the other areas up to 200%, increase the density elsewhere. So when one area goes down, looking at it from another perspective, this area goes up.
Remember, the single-family homes anywhere in this radius have now been forever rezoned and will remain multifamily.
We're going to show you a study of just one area, the small little green area inside of Los Angeles. You can see how small it is. This is one neighborhood and the impact of that one neighborhood. These are half-mile radii based on SB 79 qualifying bus stops. within those areas, you have 5,289 acres. Keeping the math simple, at 80 units per acre, that's 423,102 housing units just in this one little community. The entire housing element for the city of Los Angeles was 255,000 housing units. These are by right developments that cannot be stopped if SB 79 becomes law.
How can you plan a city like this? SB 79 accounts for no infrastructure needs, requires no open space, does not protect urban tree canopy, and does not protect vulnerable communities against displacement or gentrification, and requires no affordable housing. This bill is a developer's dream come true. Investors can play the long game. They can wait us out. As single-family homes go up for sale, they will be scooped up by these developers. These are our neighborhoods. We have to stand up for them. We support the housing identified in our housing element and believe those plans will best address individual community needs by keeping density linearly on the corridors. Cities with approved housing elements have spent millions of dollars to meet the state housing mandate at all levels of affordability and have addressed the federal affirmatively furthering fair housing guidelines. If cities have certification, why do we need SB 79?
Even if your neighborhoods do not appear to be in danger now, it's only a matter of time. Once a sweeping bill like SB 79 passes, it will eventually touch every neighborhood across the state. Working class, middle class, multifamily, low density, historic districts, and vulnerable communities will all be impacted. We need to stay united neighbors. Reach out to your state senator and assembly member and tell them no, tell them vote no on SB 79 unless amended to exempt municipalities with a certified housing element. Stay united. Thank you, everybody.
We don't oppose housing. We just oppose bad planning.